travel deep into the communist country of Cuba to see the real Cuba, a Cuba that you'll fall in love with once you immerse yourself amongst its people. From the capital city streets of Havana to the countrysides of Camagüey, I learned about the culture from those who know it best.
Quiere ir al Harlem a conocer a Fidel.
The philosophy about Rastafari.
Tengo la historia de allá, la biografía aquí.
Through raw interactions with the Cuban people themselves, I was able to find out and better understand their thoughts about the current changes that are taking place within their country. Whether it's the colorful artwork or the memorable music, the infectious dance, tasty Caribbean cuisine, or the world-famous architecture, Cuba is truly a gift, and for photographers such as myself, a gift that keeps on giving. This enchanting and often misunderstood island will leave you addicted and surely captivate your heart with its flourishing vibrance. So join me for the second time as I get lost in the back streets and force myself to ask for directions from the locals.
¿Dónde es el Careca?
Oh, caminando.
A pie, semáforo.
So behind me is nuclear weapon. Get ready for an American Travels to Cuba, Part 2. Hundreds of thousands of Americans travel to the forbidden country of Cuba every single year. One way to go about doing so is to book a flight through Mexico.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
From Mexico, book a flight directly into the city of Havana. Despite popular belief, for Americans, it is in fact legal to travel to communist Cuba, but it is illegal to spend money here. As of January 16th, the U.S. State Department allows anyone to travel here, but you must fall into certain categories like being a journalist or traveling for other educational purposes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Gracias.
Now that we've got all the paperwork out of the way, ven conmigo a la ciudad. Cuba. Where does one even begin? The energetic salsa dancing, the flavorful rice and beans with lobster, the classic American dream cars evocative of the fabulous 50s driving about in the foreground of this tropical architectural treasure, or maybe the infectious joy that embodies a persona of seemingly everyone here. I'm not sure there is one single perspective that can completely and accurately describe Cuba. I mean, given the unique geography, its ethnic diversity, and the complex political situation, there's no single one way to tell its story. But personally, I am curious to know how the Cuban people feel about the current changes that are brewing in this melting pot. People have questions about this politically isolated Caribbean island only 90 miles away from Florida. And quite frankly, we Americans want to travel here. And many people I know have real concerns about the well-being of the Cuban people. So hopefully somebody out there has the answers.
Hola.
Hola.
¿De qué país?
Estados Unidos.
¿Estados Unidos?
Sí, señor.
¿De qué parte de Estados Unidos?
¿Qué pasa en Estados Unidos?
¿De qué parte eres de Estados Unidos?
Oh, Los Ángeles.
Ah, Los Ángeles.
Sí.
Alright, Cubans love American people. They love our culture and the possibilities that come with the American dream. And many of them will talk to you about every single thing they know about the States.
Los Ángeles, California. ¿Qué es California?
Sí, California.
Hey, Los Ángeles, California.
Hollywood.
A Chicago.
Chicago. Nueva York.
Hey, a Chicago, Nueva York, Texas.
Texas.
Está en Washington.
Florida. Huh? Washington, D.C.
También está para allá arriba, Oregón, pegado a Canadá.
Ajá.
Frontera con Estados Unidos y Canadá.
Sí, yo entiendo. Y Barack Obama a la Washington, D.C. Sí, ¿te gusta Barack Obama? ¿Sí?
Es mejor.
Hay muchos cambiar en la...
Quiere cambiar.
Sí.
¿Cómo es la vida para una rasta aquí en Cuba?
Cuba, tranquilo, mucho control, pero tranquilo.
Dile que tú estás tranquilo.
Sí, siempre tranquilo, vida Rastafari, vida sana.
¿Y alguna vez has experimentado la discriminación, racismo?
Racism?
Sí,
Yeah,
sí,
yeah.
Sí.
grande racismo
Yeah.
aquí. Oh.
The big racism.
Sí.
Yeah, yeah. Grande racismo.
Ellos lo han preparado todo para tenernos nosotros en la calle, chocando.
Exactamente.
Por
Sí.
ejemplo, si abren un sitio de trabajo cómodo, meten al guardia. Los lugares te puedes fijar, todos los lugares donde hay defensa para la persona defenderse en la calle. Muchos negros, explícala ahí, Jimmy, intelectuales están en la calle.
Bueno, muchos negros.
Sí, mucho
aquí
negro.
en Cuba.
Sí.
Que son intelectuales y tienen conocimiento grande, están en la calle
Ah,
para chocar. Y entonces, many people, white people, saying Cuban white, for me it's capero. You understand capero? Rice, the key is not good, not the officer white. You know, the clothes are mixed. You know?
Que somos personas mayores y no nos respetan, nos llevan a la unidad, nos desmoralizan, nos piden documentos para...
There is no respect.
¿Qué es lo que sale de esto?
bueno.
I show you, you know Chata?
Yes.
Chata,
Chata, yeah.
he does show you right now.
Es amiga de nosotros, personal.
¿A dónde es ella?
Ahora te vamos a dar la...
United States of America.
Yeah. Where is she now? ¿A dónde es ella ahora?
Ahora te vamos a dar la coordenada. ¿Puedes tomarle la foto?
Sí. Bueno. Ella es aquí,
Yeah.
cerca de aquí.
No. She living here. But nobody don't know that place. Don't know when you live in Cuba.
Nobody knows.
Man, yeah, nobody knows.
Assata Shakur is West Coast rapper Tupac Shakur's godmother. In the late 1970s, Assata was convicted of killing a New Jersey state trooper, but she was granted political asylum from Cuba. She's been here ever since. Really?
Got me come first in 1972.
Yeah. And
The first group.
Estaba jovencita ella ahí, compadre.
Sí.
Muy joven ella.
sí, muy joven. ¿Cuántos años ella ahora?
Ahora tendrá
1998.
60 años, o 60 y algo. O quizá más.
Ajá.
Pues yo tengo 50, no, tendrá 68 años ella.
Ay, mucho, sí. Bueno. Muchas gracias por todo, por todos.
God bless.
Gracias.
Dile que si va al museo.
Alright, so I just arrived to the Gimnasio de Boxeo. We're gonna go check out a local boxing match to see if we can talk with some of the kids who are involved with the fighting here. It's pretty exciting to see, young kids encouraged and enthusiastic about being active and staying healthy and fit. So I want to see what it's all about. Let's go. Out of the 100,000 athletes currently residing in Cuba, 20,000 of them are boxers. And of those 20,000, 80 of them are Olympic contenders. And of those 80, a select 12 will compete in Brazil at the 2016 Olympics. The value of sports in Cuba is much different than that of a capitalist society. Here it is taught that sports is a means before everything else as a way of understanding discipline, self-improvement, and developing character, all of which are supposed to in return contribute to the greater community of the country. Cuba has for the most part reached its goals of mass participation and democratization of sports, and in doing so, they've achieved unprecedented international success in especially baseball and boxing.
Además de eso, también mi profesor Gilberto me ayudó a que me gustara más. También me gusta también el boxeo. También mi profesor me enseñó a ser bueno en el boxeo y seguir adelante.
¿Cuántos días en la semana necesita practicar para este?
Yo tengo 2 días a la semana, son todos los días.
¿Todo el día?
Todos los días.
Todo el día. Todo el tiempo.
Excepto sábado y domingo.
Bueno. ¿Y cómo te llamas?
Ramel Amor Ruido García.
Hay muchos cambios ahora en este país, ¿no?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Cuál es la futura para sus niños aquí? ¿Es bueno, posible en 15 años o 10 años? ¿Es diferente de hoy? Posible.
Para más adelante,
Sí, para más.
te voy a decir una cosa y yo no sé cómo tú lo veas. La realidad de que la verdadera realidad
Sí.
es la que nunca este gobierno dice, ni se la dice a ustedes ni a nadie que quiere tapar.
Sí.
Mientras este sistema no cambie, va a seguir siendo una estafa y un robo como ha sido hasta ahora. ¿Me escuchaste?
Sí.
Si tú bien ves mi país, este que vivo yo, que me da pena decir mi país, a lo mejor tú amas el tuyo, yo amo el mío, pero mientras yo tenga unos presidentes como los que tengo ahí, echándole mentira al mundo, vas a ver todo esto desastroso que tú estás viendo aquí. En Cuba parece que hay guerra.
¿Qué guerra?
Todo desbaratado, todo destruido. El bloqueo.
This quarantine will be extended, if needed, to other types of cargo and carriers. We are not at this time, however, denying the necessities of life, as the Soviets attempted to do in their Berlin blockade of 1948.
Que es lo que ellos dicen al mundo entero, no tiene que ver nada con la destrucción que hay en este país.
No tiene. No tiene.
Nada que ver con el bloqueo. Nuestro país recibe millones de dólares mensualmente. ¿Qué lo hace el régimen? No sé si lo gasta en armas, no sé si se los roban. Verdaderamente no puedo decirte, mientras en este país existan los Castro en el poder, esto va a ser un desastroso. Ningún presidente, tú crees que tú mandando, una empresa, 50 y pico de años sin tener un relevo, eso pueda funcionar? Mentira. No puede funcionar. Va a ser siempre un robo.
Well, that was incredibly encouraging, now wasn't it? I tried to make sense of his anger, his distrust for his government, and passion to see it change. It all comes down to this. The powers that be in Cuba still don't allow the people of their country to engage in political elections through the democratic process of voting. So essentially, the voice of the Cubanos still has little to no volume in the political arena. And not to mention, Cuba has the most restrictive press censorship in the Western Hemisphere. A common saying in Cuba is, somebody is always watching. So the paranoia of being arrested for simply speaking your mind is all too common amongst the young and old alike. So one can only imagine the frustration of having to endure decades of a failed policy, which was selectively implemented during the Cold War. We're talking way back in the early 1960s, when our parents were watching commercials like these.
If you were the best tasting pickle, wouldn't you be?
Cuba is divided between those who support the revolution and those who, well, clearly don't. But regardless of what side of the political spectrum Cubans fall on, there is a shared intimacy between me, the photographer, and them, my subject.
Nosotros somos de nacimiento en Barça, nacimos en Madrid.
Pose for the photo. 1, 2.
There is something unusually touching about the people of this forbidden island, and their expressions speak volumes in photograph. People tell me stories through their eyes. No words need to be spoken, so I listen.
Qué rico.
¡Qué rico!
Qué rico.
Rico no, qué rico. No, no, no.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Anay.
¿A dónde vas?
A un mandado ahí cerca.
¿No tienes un tiempo para mí?
Sí, porque es el cumpleaños de mi abuela. Imagínate, porque en Obispo,
¿Al obispo?
hay una...
Pero es abierto hoy.
No sé.
No sé, en esta noche, o en esta hora, en el domingo.
En este momento no sé. Ve hasta allá a ver y a lo mejor está abierto.
I think I love you.
¿Ah?
I think I love you.
¿Quién? ¿Tú?
Es posible, te amo.
Ah. ¿Cómo tú me vas a ver si tú no me conoces?
Yo necesito un número.
Mi número.
Sí, yo quiero su número.
¿Pero para qué? Ah.
Porque yo quiero hablar con tú posible en otro día. Posible tú mírame su ciudad y su favorito restaurante. Es posible, ¿no? Es no posible. ¿Tú tienes una lápiz?
Vamos, yo voy hasta ahí.
Viene de su abuela. Yo espero aquí. No. Este es para su campeano.
¿Para?
Por su campeano.
Para mi abuela.
Ah, para su abuela.
Es su cumpleaños hoy. Dame uno.
¿Qué es este? ¿Es cake?
Sí.
Bueno. A lot of cakes down there.
¿Ah? Ahí dan clases de salsa hoy domingo.
Yo quiero tú aprenderme. Es posible, tú eres una maestra.
Enseñarte a ti. Yo tu maestra, yo no sé. Ah.
Posible, pregunta él. ¿A dónde es el Careca?
Careca,
Una aquí.
creo que se la quitaron, pero cae de automático esto de sacar dinero.
Hay otra que está
Dentro de la terminal de ómnibus.
dentro de la terminal de
No,
ómnibus.
la única que hay.
Terminal de ómnibus.
Tenemos que coger un carro para ir.
No,
caminando,
a pie,
atraviesan aquí el parque.
semáforo,
Sí.
semáforo, derecha, semáforo, terminal grande de ómnibus.
Okay. ¿Cuántas cuadras?
1, 2, 4 y 2, 6 cuadras. Caminar que estás joven.
Bueno, gracias.
You know, the one dreaded, excruciatingly painstaking problem that me, a spoiled American who wants everything quick, fast, and in a hurry had about Cuba is that everybody has to wait for everything, everywhere, all the time. Want 5 minutes of Wi-Fi to send an email? Sure, no problem, but you'll have to wait at least an hour in line first. And the same goes for the bank, the bakery, and just about every other place imaginable. You'll find a line of people outside waiting to be seen. But the Cubans have figured out how to make the waiting a little less painful. They've created a system where they simply ask, ¿Quién es el último? Or who is last? And once they figure that out, they can then go about handling other errands within close proximity, always keeping an eye on that person who is immediately before them.
Gracias.
Stay tuned, because up next, we're taking a tour around the city of Havana in the back of a drop-top Chevy.
As promised, we're getting ready to take a tour around the city of Havana in this 1949 Chevy. Only in Cuba could you do something like this and get away with wearing a hat like this. So don't judge me. But I hope you're ready because we're going on a tour of the entire city. Let's go. Just arrived to Hamel Alley, which is every Sunday they have rumba music here, which is heavily influenced by African culture. So when you come to Cuba, you're gonna want to make sure you stop by here if you really want to get a true, authentic experience. Only on Sundays. I'm excited. Let's go.
This This alleyway is famous for its Afro-Cuban art and ancient rituals where Santeria priests attempt to invoke the spirits of Orisha through dance and drums. Arriving as slaves in the Caribbean, Santerians preserved several elements of their religion, many of which can still be seen throughout Cuba today.
Oh my God.
What happened, baby? Hello, hello, baby. Oh my God. What happened?
Michael, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
What are you doing right now?
Right now I'm sitting here next to John Lennon, who's actually never been to Cuba, but he represents peace for the Cuban people here in this country. And there's a gentleman whose job it is to protect these glasses. Oh, there he is right there, yes.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien. And it's his job, hired by the government, to protect these glasses because they've actually been taken over 100 times by the people of Cuba because they're bronze and they're of value. So it's his job to sit here all day, and when people come to take pictures, he puts on the glasses, and me and John are photo ready. ¿Qué pasa? Good old revolutionary sounds of trumpets accompanied by Civil War-esque drum and snares meant to rally the troops before battle. There's a certain level of heightened pride that the people of Cuba take in their country. A small country with a modestly small population proved to the world that it could in fact, when mobilized by intelligence, character, and courage, channel a pride that translates to passionate patriotism. The true enigma of Cuba resides within the fabric of her uniquely fastened and intertwined Spanish and West African heritage. Colorful, historic, dramatic, and on occasion surreal, yet always friendly and always inviting. My time spent in Cuba was endlessly fascinating. I was showered in immeasurable amounts of kindness, gratitude, and love everywhere I went. I found myself constantly admiring how some of the poorest people in the world, who averaged a monthly income of less than $20 US, often living in dilapidated and inhumane conditions, could so willingly and easily insist on going out of their way to give me, an American, what was often their very last. I enjoyed countless home-cooked meals, sipped more than enough sweet Cuban rum, and I even pretended to be a local half the time as my cash was running low, so I was able to pay the 10 Cuban pesos instead of the 10 cook for each cochero ride down the dimly lit Malecon while listening to the rhythms of the rumba on the radio. The resilience of the Cuban people can be seen just about everywhere, despite the orbit of socialism that their country has been spun into. They've developed creative solutions to complicated social and economic problems, making the country unique for its imaginative and resourceful spirit. The personal connections I shared with locals as they spoke openly about the true reality of life in Cuba was both powerful and eye-opening. The Cold War has long been over, and the sun is now setting on the reign of a communist regime that captivated the hearts of millions for decades. Subscribe now to join me in part 3 of my journey even further into the Caribbean country of Cuba to explore the exotic turquoise beaches, speak with local painters and artists,
Pero su arte es muy feliz y muy contento.
and get a never-before-seen look inside of Havana's newest museum dedicated to preserving Afro-Cuban heritage. And also, while walking around the historic Habana Vieja, I caught up with the world-famous artist Michelangelo Pistoletto and American pro skater Tom Remillard, who talked about bringing skateboards down to Cuba for local kids. And lastly, we'll find out more about the religion of Santeria and the practices that have been taking place here for centuries. So be sure to subscribe now so you won't miss part 3 of An American Travels to Cuba.